Hi guys, this is your girl Kandai here in Mangena and I'm back again with another video. I'm going to be showing you guys how to draft this cassette, and the other pictures are pictures I got from Pinterest as my inspiration. So yeah, that's the measurement chart, and I've got a video already showing you guys how to take measurements, so do check it out. So we're going to start by folding our pattern paper using khaki cover. Hey, it still works. So, anyways, what you're going to do is to create and label your shoulder line, right? Basically, we're drafting basic borders. So then you're going to mark out your shoulder line, that is your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, which is 7 inches for me. And then we're going to mark out our neckline. So from the center front line to the shoulder line, 3 inches, and then we also go down on the center front line by 3 inches. Then on the shoulder line, you're going to go down by 1 inch, right? Because the shoulder is slanted. So after this, you're just going to curve with your ruler curve to create the neckline, and then you're going to slant onto the shoulder line because your shoulder is slanted and it's not straight. So from this point, you're going to mark out your bust point, then your under bust point, then your waistline. Okay, so after doing this, you're going to rule it out. So once you've marked out your points, label them. For assistance, just that for clarity's sake, you can just label it so you guys can see. So yeah, now that I'm done, what I'm going to do is to create the chest line. So you divide your bust by 6 inches, and then you add 1.5 inches on top. So that's my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. This is the answer I get. Because it was 7.75, I'm going to round it off to the nearest number. So I'm going to be putting 8 inches for my chest line. It just creates a little bit of ease when you're drafting your corset or anything, or if it's a suit, a blazer, shirt. It just creates a little bit of ease, right? So once I'm done, that's my chest line. I'm going to just divide the shoulder to chest line by 2, sorry, not by 2 inches, but by 2. And then at that midpoint, I'm going to come in towards my center front by 0.75 inches, right? So once that's done, I'm going to take my round bust measurement and I'm going to divide it by 4. And then the answer that I'm going to get, I'm going to place it on both my chest line and my bust line. So I got 9.3 inches, so I'm going to mark it out from my center front line to my chest line, right, on my chest line. Then I'm also going to mark it out on my bust line. Right. So the folded line is the one I'm using as the center front line in case you guys are confused. But yeah, so the way I folded it, that becomes therefore my chest line. So afterwards, I'm going to join my shoulder line from the chest line. Now I'm going to be marking out my nipple to nipple measurement. The nipple to nipple is divided by 2, and then you mark it out onto your chest, onto your bust line, your under bust, and your waist. Don't mark it on your chest line, okay? So afterwards, I'm going to be putting 0.5 inches on both sides. That's just creating the basic dot, but we won't be using this basic dot for today's corset. Right. So now I'm going to divide my under bust by 4 inches. By four, sorry, not 4 inches. Why am I try keep on saying 4 inches. Anyways, I'm just going to divide my under bust by 4 and then mark it out on the under bust line. And I'm going to divide next my waistline divided by 4 and then mark it out on my waistline. So once that's done, I'm going to separate my under bust from the bust line. So it's your bust minus under bust. Then whatever you get, you divide by 4. So once you get that, which is 1.9 inches, I'm going to share 1.2 inches on the side that is on the side front. And then on the side that's on next to the center front, I'm going to put 0.75 inches, right? So I'm just going to shade unevenly, right? Apportioning the center front side less and the side front more. I hope that was as clear as possible. So after that was, I'm just going to shape that with my curved ruler. So that's the underbust tightening. So from there, the shoulder line, I'm going to divide it by 2 because we're basically trying to create a shoulder dot. So I'm going to join that line to the bust point, and this is where we're going to mark out the full coverage of how we want our corset to be covered. So from the bust line, I'm going to measure 4 inches, which is basically the nipple to nipple measurement. You can measure how covered you want it to be from your nipple, or you can just use your nipple to nipple measurement. Right. So afterwards, what I'm going to be doing is to join that point to the curve, the armhole curve. So yeah, just try to join it as best as you can. And then I'm going to go from my shoulder line down by 9.5 inches. This is how deep. It depends on how open and how sweetheart you want the chest line to show. So if you are making a sweethearted corset, right, you can simply keep it at this. So what I'm doing right now basically is to go from the shoulder dot. I'm going in from both sides by 1 inch, right? So I'm going to take out 1 inch on the other side and 1 inch on the other side. This is just creating a dot for shape, right? So I'm going to connect those two to the bust point. Okay, so that you cancel it out and that you cancel it out. Okay, so from the center front line, which is basically sticking to our underbust line, right? And then that 1.9 inches that you added for the dot, you're going to add it from your points that you had marked out as your underbust and your waist point. So now those new points are the ones that you're going to join onto um your bust and your underbust and your waist, right? Afterwards, from your bust line, you're going to go down by 1 inch, right, and create a side dot. This is because the front shoulder to waist is longer than the front shoulder to waist at the back, right? Your back doesn't have a bust, so the bigger the bust, the bigger the dot. The smaller the bust, the smaller the dot. I hope that was clear. But if you don't understand this, you can reference with some of my basic borders patterns. Okay, so if you want to maintain the sweetheart neckline, you can stick to this shape. But because we're not doing the sweetheart, we're doing, I don't know if I should call it a boat. Yeah, let me call it a boat. Hey. So anyways, with this shape, what you do is to just go down using your ruler curve onto the chest line, like so. And that's the shape you get. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the back side, right? So we're going to also do what we did in the front, that is to draft or draw out our shoulder line, and then we're going to mark out our shoulder to bust, our shoulder to under bust, and our shoulder to waist, right? So you realize that your shoulder to waist at the back is slightly shorter than the shoulder to front waist line. Again, like I said, it's because of the bust. Yeah, the bigger the bust, the bigger the dot. The smaller the bust, the smaller the difference. So here we're going to mark out our 7 inches. That is our shoulder to shoulder, right? And then we're going to mark 3 inches on the shoulder line and 1.5 inches on the center front line. This is because this is the back. And the reason why we're drafting this cassette from the basic borders is you can also use this when you are now drafting or creating a neckline that has a yoke. So here I just went down by 1 inch right from the shoulder line, and now I'm marking out the chest line. So that is 8 inches from the shoulder line, right? So it's the same thing we did with the front, and then we're just going to square it out. So we're also going to just mark out our bust divided by 4 on the chest line and the bust line. And then from there, we're going to mark out our under bust line divided by 4, our waistline divided by 4. Right. So from this point again, you're going to divide it by 2. And then this time, because the back you enter by 0.5 inches. So after doing that, you're going to just connect those points together like so. And once you're done, you are going to start marking out your nipple to nipple measurement. This is because we also want a back dot, right, for your corset. So on this time around, you're going to mark your nipple to nipple measurement from your chest line, your bust line, your under bust, and your waist. So you're just going to connect those lines like so. And then at the bottom on your waistline, you're going to mark out 0.5 inches on one side, 0.15 inches on the other side. And on the chest line, you're going to mark out 0.25 inches on one side and 0.25 inches on the other side. Then you're going to join those points together. Okay, so once you're done, you're going to add out the seam allowance, the dart allowance that you're going to edit onto your waist point and your under bust point. So once you're done, now you're going to come in from your back front line, center front line by 2 inches on your waistline and then 3 inches on your chest line, and then connect those points like so. And then if you want a curve, you can just plunge in using your curved ruler like so. So that's the dot that you're going to remove, and these are the points where you're going to be putting your loops. Alright, so now you can just basically cut it out. So afterwards, you just simply, that's the excess fabric, almost like excess fabric, but that's the excess. Then you can just duct tape and remove the dot by putting sellotape on the dot line. That's how you can simply close the dot. So that's the back. It's one piece. And then for the front, we're now just going to be cutting it out from the shoulder line. Right? So you're going to cut it out from the bust line. So you're going to cut from the bust line to the slightest edge. Don't cut it out completely, right? To the slightest edge. And then what you're going to do from that point is to merge it like this and then put sellotape again, right? So once you're done, you cut out the excess. So that's the side front. It's done. You cut it too. Just putting extra sellotape just to get it intact. Okay, so now we're cutting the center front. So this is how you're just going to cut the shape, the boat shape. If you know the name to this corset, what it's called, please do leave it down in the description box. Do leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you. So that's the center front. You cut it on fold, right? So basically, this is how it looks like when you cut it on fold. But yeah, that's how you're going to join the center front and the side front, and the back. So basically, that's just about it for the drafting of this corset. If you do have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for your continued support. Lots of love from me, Karen, and may the good Lord bless you always.